When it comes to finding deadly animals, what countries come to mind? Brazil, Australia, maybe even the USA? What doesn't come to mind is the UK, and that's for very good reason. Animal-wise, there's not a whole lot that could or would kill you. We only have one venomous snake, the adder, which has a venom 40 times less potent than the deadliest snakes, and there hasn't been an adder-related death reported since 1975. But that's not to say there isn't some wildlife that it would be wise to steer clear of. So, just what are the UK's deadliest animals, and how likely are you to encounter them? I've already taken a look at which animal is statistically most likely to kill you worldwide, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. But let's zoom in on the 250,000 square kilometres of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland that's home to more than 65 million tea-sipping citizens. The British Isles used to be a much more dangerous place to take an afternoon stroll. Large predatory mammals roamed the countryside until the Middle Ages. Wild boar, wolves and even brown bear and lynx could be found within a Britain that was much wilder than it is today. Much of the country was covered in thick ancient woodland that was perfect hunting ground for these fierce predators. But as our populations expanded, the wild animals were hunted for sport, and their forest homes were chopped down to make space for cultivated land. So by 1000 BC, both the Eurasian brown bear and lynx had disappeared from the British Isles. Wolves and wild boar persisted a bit longer, but by the time Charles II sat on the throne in the mid-17th century, they too were gone. The loss of biodiversity from our wild countryside is a sad inevitability of us humans' expansion, but it does mean that we no longer have anything to fear from these large wild predators. That's not to say, though, that all big mammals are safe. In fact, it's the seemingly docile ones that we intentionally breed that might pose the most threat. Dogs may be man's best friend, but with around 200,000 dog attacks a year, they can be surprisingly deadly too. Certain breeds like the Pit Bull Terrier and Japanese Tosa are considered especially aggressive and have been banned under the Dangerous Dogs Act. But despite the huge number of attacks, only roughly 2 deaths a year are caused by dogs in the UK on average. In fact, you're more likely to meet your end under the hooves of the humble cow. They've got a reputation for being passive and possibly a bit stupid, but at certain times of the year, cows and bulls will stop at nothing to protect their patch or their young. They've got size on their side too. A fully grown bull can literally weigh a ton, and with horns and unyielding hooves, they can cause serious damage by butting, trampling and crushing an unsuspecting rambler. It's for this reason that cows are considered the UK's most deadly large mammal. They've killed at least 74 people in the last 15 years. That's an average of nearly 5 cow-related deaths per year. The majority of deaths have been of farm workers whose sheer exposure to these animals puts them at more risk, but lone walkers with dogs are also especially likely to enrage grumpy cow. But it's not the sharp teeth and brute force of predatory mammals we should really be worried about. Britain's real animal killers are insects. Now, I'm not talking about spiders, although around 15 species of spider in the UK can bite, including the increasingly common false widow spider. The venom they inject is only enough to bring out itchy rashes or painful swelling. There's never been a single reported death thanks to a spider bite here in the UK. The real insect villains kill by indirect means. Bees and wasps can sting when they feel threatened, injecting a venom that causes local pain and swelling. For most of us, that's where it ends, but for 30% of the population who are allergic to the venom, a sting can be life-threatening. Anaphylactic shock following wasp and bee stings can be sudden, unexpected, and if medical help isn't available, deadly. Allergic reactions to stings result in around 5 deaths in the UK every year. Finally, dust mites can be found in pretty much every dusty corner, and around 90% of asthma sufferers in the UK are affected when exposed to their droppings. And asthma is a big killer, with over 1,000 deaths every year. Now, there's no saying that dust mite droppings were responsible for all of those, but their abundance and our sensitivity makes their role a major one. So while the UK may seem almost boringly safe when compared to the ferocious predators and venomous reptiles you might find elsewhere, our wildlife is out to get us with cloak and dagger. Were you surprised by the UK's deadliest animals? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and click here to find out which animal is most likely to kill you wherever you are in the world. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.